Come on, Tom! Hey! Watch it, pal. Just dry it out.
Sorry. You know this place?
Yeah. We've done a few pickups at the farm before. Don't worry. There ain't nothing but cow shit and shine out here. It's gonna be an easy few clams. Boys will load up the trucks, and we'll come straight back.
Yeah, let's make it quick. I got someplace to be.
You see Sarah later. Luigi's little girl, your night shift. You're something else, pal. Protecting the girl's virginity one day and taking it the next.
Lay off, Polly.
Ah, come on. I'm just kidding. She's a good girl. You settle down, she'll straighten you right out. You're going home to a couch.
Hello and welcome to another video, and today I wanted to take the time and review one of the best games that has come out in 2020, and that is Mafia Definitive Edition. So, normally when I review these games, I play these games on either the Xbox One or the PS4. I'm mostly a console-centric person. However, for this game, I actually ended up playing it on PC, so all of the footage that you're going to see today is from the PC release of this game. One of the reasons that I wanted to do that was specifically because I don't know if Mafia Definitive Edition is going to get a next-gen PS5 and Xbox Series X upgrade. I have no idea. They haven't said anything yet. My assumption is that it probably will. I wanted an excuse to buy a new game on a high-end PC since I have one, and I don't play a lot of games there. So, again, all the footage you're seeing today is from the PC version. I captured it at 4K. However, the video is only going to be 1080p because I don't put out 4K videos, at least not yet. Sometime down the future I probably will. So putting that aside, let's talk about one of the best games that has come out in 2020, and that is Mafia Definitive Edition. So if you never played Mafia before, and if you have, you probably played one of the sequels, either Mafia 2, which came out in 2010, or more likely Mafia 3, which came out in 2016. These are kind of like GTA, but maybe a little more historically accurate. Mafia 2 takes place in the 40s. Mafia 3 takes place, I want to say, in the late 60s, early 70s. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that one. The original Mafia takes place at the end of the 20s and the beginning of the 1930s and kind of goes through the 30s. So this game, you play as Tommy Angelo. And basically, you're just kind of a down-on-your-luck taxi driver in the fictional town of Lost Heaven, Illinois. It's basically a Chicago stand-in, because at the time, they didn't want to pay for the rights to have the city of Chicago. So this is what they ended up doing. Through a series of events, you become part of the Salieri crime family. And what kind of develops throughout the game is a very unique and interesting story centered around the Mafia, and specifically the Mafia in this game between the Salieri crime family and the antagonist crime family, which their name escapes me at the moment. And it's a unique story because of how it plays out. They kind of take elements from like The Godfather, other famous gangster movies, but they craft their own unique story, and I think the story of this one in particular is more unique than Mafia 2 and Mafia 3, but I think where Mafia 1 shines the most, and always has for me, was in its storytelling. And the other thing I have to nail over the head here is this game looks jaw-dropping. This is one of the best looking games that I have played now this generation, and Hangar 13 has outdone themselves with this definitive edition of the original Mafia. And if you don't believe me, just go back and look at some of the screenshots of the original 2002 game. So that original game released on PC in 2002. That's how I originally played it. It did eventually come out on Xbox. I want to say it was like early 2005. So there was a console release of the original Mafia, but one of the things that's really nice in the definitive edition here is they've updated some things. So yes, one of the big downfalls of the original Mafia was that cars could run out of fuel. You would have to go to the gas station, fill it up. That could still happen in Mafia Definitive Edition, but it's a lot less common for you to see something like that. Also, they've put in the ability to skip drives. So one of the big complaints about the original Mafia was driving from point A to point B because, again, you're driving with cars in the 1920s and 1930s. They're not going to handle very well. One of the nice things about the Definitive Edition is if you're in a mission where you have to drive from point A to point B, you can just click down on the D-pad and you can actually skip that whole driving section. Now, what I would say is, while you can do that, you're going to miss a lot of interesting story elements, because one of the fun parts about those drives is just the communication you have and the conversations you have between your character and some of the other characters in the game, like Paulie and Sam and so on. And so I wouldn't necessarily recommend skipping a drive in the game unless you're replaying a mission and you just want to get to point B. With that being said, Mafia Definitive Edition takes about 10 hours to get through the story, at least it did for me. That was playing on the normal difficulty. And it's not a full $60 game. That's the other thing I'll say. This is a budget title. It's priced at $40. I think on the PC I was able to get it for $30. There was a deal somewhere. So again, I highly recommend it. The only real negative aspect I have in terms of the game is there can be some... So I played it at a full native 4K resolution. I played it with everything maxed out, and I ran the game generally at 60 frames. I saw maybe 1 or 2 instances of dropped frames, and anytime that was happening, there was like a massive amount of stuff going on the screen. Other than that, the game runs flawlessly, at least on PC. And again, I know that's going to scale based on what kind of PC you have. And that's one of the other reasons why I generally don't like to review games on PC for the channel, is because there's just such a multitude of machines out there. It's not like you and I go out and buy an Xbox per se. We have the same exact experience. PC, it depends on the hardware that you have. So again, I can't speak to how this game runs on the consoles. And again, the game looks stunning. This is probably the most next-gen looking game I've played this year without actually having one of these next-gen systems yet. So if this is what they can do to bring this game forward to the Series X and the PS5, it's going to look phenomenal. But with that being said, I think everything they did around the gunplay, it works so much better. One thing I will say is that the shotgun in this game is incredibly broken. I mean, I was shooting people from absurd distances with this shotgun, one blast, and they were dying. Like, incredibly unrealistic, but it didn't take anything out of my enjoyment of the game. If anything, it gave me more enjoyment. So the other thing I want to nail over the head here is the voice acting and performance motion capture work on these characters like Tommy, Paulie, Sam, the main Salieri crime boss. They all look stunning. Absolutely stunning. They did an excellent job with this game. An excellent job. Like, some of the best mocap I've seen this year in a video game. And maybe come towards Game of the Year. This game right now, probably in my top 5. I've enjoyed it that much. So, for Mafia Definitive Edition, I'm going to go ahead and give this game an A-. Again, I haven't played the console versions. Honestly, if this game gets a patch, I will probably look at picking it up again on the Series X. But I'm kind of waiting to see what they do there. I enjoyed it that much, and I would enjoy playing through it again. So, A- for me, one of the best games of this year, and what I would leave you with is Mafia Definitive Edition is to the original Mafia what Resident Evil 2 Remake is to Resident Evil 2 the original. That's what I would put this game in terms of putting it in a category. It's that good. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video review. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.